This 3-second tip can help transform your ball striking, allow you to hit straighter golf shots, hit more greens in regulation, and of course, lower those scores. Hi everyone, my name's James Robinson and welcome back to Get Good at Golf. Today we're talking about how your hips should move in the golf swing. So many people think they know how the hips should move in the golf swing, but so many people also get this terribly wrong and it can cost you distance, accuracy, and golf balls. So today we're going to give you a very quick, simple drill to help you with that. How should the hips work? We'll assess that first. So I see so many people where the hips slide this way and slide that way, and unfortunately that's the kind of strike that you do get. So I've produced a leading edge to that ball there, very little dynamic loft. Plenty of speed though, but generally how can I hit better shots than that? So the hips want to move in a rotational manner. We all know the hips are an ellipse, they're not a circle. So they move on kind of two separate axes. And essentially what I want to do is, as I take the club away here, I want the hips to stay nice and still through this motion here. So I take the club away with the upper body. Now as I move, get my weight transfer moving, that's when the right hip wants to move back. So the right hip moves back. You can see that I kind of plant down into the right foot there. Of course, my left hip moves forward because of that ellipse shape. So essentially, when I do this, I want the hips to move in unison. Now the issue being, if you don't rotate properly with your hips, we know you're not going to get the strike, but also a rotational movement is a lot faster than a lineal movement. So if I can create you a lineal hip movement this way, I really can't get that moving as quick as if I rotate the hips. Now the hips will rotate normally with your weight transfer. If we do that properly, generally you're going to be more control of that club head. So what I don't want to see is, from the top of the backswing, a lack of control here. I want you to lead that golf swing with the lower body. So we start it with the weight transfer. We allow the left hip to come back square. Then the chest and the sternum start to rotate as well. Then we see the upper body moving round with the arms and the shoulders. Then the hands move, and then finally the club head. Now what's happened with these hips on the way down, you'll see it's a reverse of the backswing. So the right hip's moving towards the ball, the left hip is moving away from the ball, and from here I have the hands in front of the club head. That's giving me forward shaft lean, and that is de-lofting the club nicely and dynamically. So if all those things work right, if that sequence works properly, then I can hit nice consistent golf shots. And if you practice that to the point where you get consistent at it, you can see that generally you can hit some really nice strikes. You can hit the ball further and you can hit it a lot much more accurately. Now, where does this come in? Because this is the 3-second drill, and it's something that Chris taught me years ago, if you bear with me, and we'll feed this through the belt loops. Obviously, this is something which you have to be very careful with, but if I think about where my hips are now, visually I can see what's happening with this alignment stick. So, as I move back, the last thing I want to see is this, because I can see with my peripheral vision that this is moving out here. But also the last thing I want to see is this, because if I have a one-piece takeaway, this is something which, although might look like you're hitting good golf shots, you can see a severe lack of speed and a severe lack of conviction. Now if I move the club away here with the upper body, you can see I want those hips to stay nice and still initially. As I move the weight transfer, you can see that right hip moves, and I can see this little alignment stick through my peripheral vision on the left-hand side. This is where things get interesting, because if I go out of sequence here, that's when I can really start to get into trouble, and this is going to get in the way. So if you are going to try this, try it maybe with like a foam, what do you call it, a noodle, a swimming noodle on the end there, so you don't hurt your hands. So, stable, move, and through. And you can see there that I'm not doing that at full speed, but I can still get some pretty good distance out there with the 8-iron, just with thinking about the movements I'm doing and the order that I'm doing them in. It's a really good way to practice your pitching as well, to be fair. So back, I'm going to start that one again because I could see that move. Back, move, and through. And all of a sudden, I'm really working on my sequence in there without doing too much with the golf swing. It's a really nice, quick, simple drill. And I would guarantee that if you did this in your practice swing just a little bit, you'll start to not only hit the ball straighter and more consistently, but you also hit it further because we're creating what used to be known as X factor. So we're actually getting a little bit more rotation difference with all these shots. Now, if I take that out now and just hit some normally, essentially what I'm trying to do here is create almost a lag between my upper body and lower body. Now, with the hips moving as we want them to, as we said, this is a really quick, simple tip and drill, but essentially I can think now, right, all the way back here, I can go further because I'm not too worried about the alignment stick being there. But look at the difference there in that ball flight because I've loaded against my lower body with the upper body, and that's pretty much exactly what I want with my 8-iron. Guys, if that can help you, make sure you do hit that subscribe button below and throw a like on it if you enjoy these videos.